Hey physics, I wanted to do a video about this one. I had somebody say that they weren't able to be in class, and I just think it's a good idea to have a walkthrough for some things. So, calculating speed. So speed is basically, when you're looking at a graph, it's the slope of the line. It's how many meters per second, or miles per hour, or, kilometers per hour, whatever, something like that. The distance it travels in a certain amount of time. So, high speed means it's moving fast. Low speed means that it's covering a small amount of distance in a certain amount of time. So a really useful thing that you can use here is this triangle here. So this is going to tell you what operation you're going to need, whether it's multiplication or division. When you're calculating which one of these things. So if I needed to find time, then I would cover up time and do distance divided by speed. If I wanted to know distance, I'd cover up distance and I would do time times speed. Or if I wanted to find out about what the speed is, then I would do distance divided by time. Okay? So I'm actually going to copy this and I'm going to bring it over here so I can see it as I'm working on this. So the question is, what is the speed of a jet plane that flies 7,200 kilometers in 9 hours? So I'm going to put down what I know so far. So I don't know the speed yet, but I see kilometers and I see hours. So that means that the distance is going to be 7,200 kilometers and the time is going to be 9 hours. Okay? So now, if I'm looking for speed, I'm going to cover up the S and I'm going to do distance divided by time. So I need to solve for speed. So the equation I will use is distance divided by time equals speed. So now I'm going to put the numbers in. So the distance is 7,200 kilometers divided by 9 hours equals, and you can already see the units are here, kilometers per hour. So 7,200 divided by 9 is going to be 800 kilometers per hour. Okay? And that's our final answer there. So I'm going to copy this again, bring it to the next page. So a storm is moving towards your house at a speed of 20 kilometers an hour. It's currently 60 kilometers away from your home. How long will it be before it reaches your house? So the information that I have, I see kilometers per hour there, so that's going to be speed. So 20 kilometers per hour. I see just kilometers there, so that's going to be distance. So 60 kilometers is my distance. And that means I need to know time. How long means time. So I'm going to do distance divided by speed. Time. Okay, so the distance is 60 kilometers divided by 20 kilometers per hour. And those cancel each other out, so we end up with just hour. So the final answer is 3 hours. 60 divided by 20 is 3. So let's look at this next one. I'm going to copy and paste this over. All right. A swimmer can swim at a speed of 2.8 meters per second for 6 minutes. How much distance can they cover in that amount of time? So I see meters per second, so I know that's speed. 2.8 meters per second. And 6 minutes is time. So 6 minutes. So I need to know distance. How much distance can they cover? So if I cover up the D, it's going to be time times seconds. Sorry, time times speed. So the equation I need is time times, and really I'm going to do this one, speed equals distance. All right, so the time is 6 minutes. Ooh, and this one has a complicating factor. Because I see here that this is meters per second. So I need to do one more thing before I can calculate this. I need to get this speed into meters per minute. So what I can do here, since there are 60 seconds in a minute, I'm going to do 2.8 times 60. So 2.8 meters per second times 60 seconds per minute. And then you can see that those seconds cancel each other out. So now I'm going to have 2.8 times 60. Doing that on my calculator real quick. 2.8 times 60. So that means that we have the speed is 168 meters per minute. 6 minutes times 168 meters per minute. Okay, so now our final answer is going to be 168 times 6. So that leaves us with 1,008 meters per, no, distance. Yeah, so it leaves us with 108 meters because this cancels out the minutes. Okay, so let's copy this over. And I always like to, just to kind of keep my brain fresh and keep myself rooted in something real that's not just numbers, I like to always think about okay, I just came up with a number here, but what does that mean? So I like to come back and be like, what was the question? How much distance can they cover? So they can cover 108 meters in 6 minutes. Okay? And if we wanted to check, that we could do 108 meters divided by 6 minutes, and that should give us 168 meters per minute, if we wanted to. Okay, so here's my triangle again. At dinner, you got mad and threw your burrito at a speed of 4 meters per second directly at your sibling. It flies for 18 seconds through the air because you have a giant dining room. But it misses your sibling. How far away did it land? So I see a speed of 4 meters per second. It flies for 18 seconds through the air. So how far away is going to be distance. So distance means we need to do speed times time. So the speed is 4 meters per second times 18 seconds. And again, those seconds cancel each other out, so we're left with just meters. So 4 times 18 is going to be 72 meters. Like I said, you have a giant dining room. Okay, now I'm going to take this for our last story problem here. Okay, your older sibling is driving you to school at a speed of 100 kilometers an hour, which is about 60 miles per hour. So you both aren't late, going fast. You have to be in the building in 0.25 hours or you'll be marked absent. You have 16 kilometers to travel. Will you make it on time? Okay, so this one's a little bit confusing because we're actually looking for time here. Will we make it on time? How much time is it going to take us to move 16 kilometers at 100 kilometers per hour? So we need to know if that time that it's going to take us to move these two numbers is less than this amount or more. Okay? So the speed that we're going is 100 kilometers per hour. The distance we need to travel is 16 kilometers. So are we going to make it on time? That's what we need to find out. So I'm going to cover up time here. And it's going to be distance divided by speed. All right, so the distance is 16 kilometers divided by 100 kilometers per hour. And again, those kilometers cancel each other out, so we end up with just 0.16. 0.16 hours is how long it's going to take us to get to school. So to figure that out, if we want to know how many hours that is, or how many minutes that is, to kind of like give us an idea here, we could do this times 60. So 0.16 times 60 minutes in an hour, and I can show you what that looks like there. So what I just did is 0.16 hours times 60 minutes per hour equals 9.6 minutes. So we needed to get there in 0.25 hours. So I can see here that it's less than that. It's 0.16 hours. So 0.25 hours, if you're looking at a clock, a round clock, 0.25 hours is a quarter of that time. So that's 15 minutes. So we needed to get there in 15 minutes. We got there in 9.6 minutes. So we're doing good. Slow down, go the speed limit, right? Okay, so let's come back here now. So now we're talking about average speed versus instantaneous speed. So the big idea here is that average speed is good when you want to know how fast you traveled over a long period of time. So if I went on a road trip, maybe my average speed was like 45 miles an hour, but there were times where I was going faster than that. There was times when I was going slower than that. There may have been times when I was just stopped, right? So the average speed is how far you traveled on average that whole time. Whereas the instantaneous speed is how fast you were traveling at a certain time. So maybe when I was going through Bozeman, Montana, maybe at that time I was going 75 miles an hour. Outside of Bozeman, not inside the town, but I just want to go fast. That's awesome. So yeah, average is the time overall. Instantaneous is at that one time. So another example of that would be if you run track and field. Like a sprinter would be interested in their instantaneous speed, because that's like how fast can I go if I'm going as fast as I can. Would be interested in their instantaneous speed. How fast can I go? Whereas a cross-country runner is more interested in their average speed, because they may be able to sprint for a little while, but really, if you're running cross-country, you need to be able to pace yourself and go an average of a pretty good speed, right? Would be interested in their average speed. Okay? So, because they want to know, like, it doesn't really matter how fast they can sprint really quick, but it's more like how fast they're going over an extended period of time, right? Okay, so velocity and speed are really similar. Velocity is how fast you're going in a certain direction, whereas speed is just how fast are you going. So, speed, a car travels 25 miles per hour while in town. We don't know what direction they're going in, but they're going 25 miles per hour. An airplane travels 550 miles per hour northwest to Seattle, so that's going to be velocity because we know the direction. Mrs. Billy drove 40 meters per second south on her snowmobile. Is going to be velocity because we know the direction. Mrs. Allen ran 5 feet per second away from Bigfoot while she was